Hello, I'm Challen, the Edgy Skater, and today I wanted to make a very quick video to talk about, as part of our beginner series, how to know when you need your blade sharpened. So this is a really common beginner kind of question, and part of it is always going to come down to personal preference. Some skaters like that really first newly sharpened feel, and so they'll get their skate sharpened more often to try to maintain it as much like that as possible. And other skaters will like how this blade feels more in the middle point, or they might even like how it feels dull. And so they'll keep it dull for a pretty long time until they can't take it anymore. But generally, the way to try to tell if your skates need sharpening or not is how secure you feel when you take your stops and when you have to hold edges. Blades that are too dull won't want to make that nice, crisp skid on the stop. It'll kind of bounce around a little bit, or you'll have to apply a lot of pressure, more than you really should need to for any stop. Also, you might hear more advanced skaters talking about the blades slipping underneath them. And if you're a beginner, you might think, well, how can a blade slip underneath you? You're on frozen ice, it's slippery. What slippery are they talking about? Well, if a blade is very dull, sometimes it'll feel like it doesn't want to hold you up on the edge you're trying to skate on, and it'll feel like you have to work really hard to stay right where you are, or your weight will just slip off the part of the blade you tried to put it on into a different area without really needing anything to go wrong in order to make that happen. There is a very helpful test that you can do that involves just using the back of your fingernail. What you would do is you would take the nail and you would run it in an angle like this over the blade. You're not really applying a lot of pressure. What you're going to try to do is you're going to try to very finely scrape the top layer of the nail on the blade, and if it's sharp, it will do that. It'll leave like little white dust on the blade, which will be the remnants of the enamel. So, if a skate is very dull, you would either have to apply a lot of pressure that you would never apply on your nail. Let's say if you knew this was a very sharp kitchen knife, and most skates should be sharper than a kitchen knife. Um, if you have to apply pressure that you wouldn't want to apply to your finger over a kitchen knife, and you're barely getting any of your nail remains on the blade or none at all, those blades definitely need to be sharpened. Another way to try to go about it is ask your trusted sharpener. If you are at this level and you skate this many hours a week, how often do they anticipate it would be in terms of hours before you need to come see them again? For a lot of skaters, they can get a minimum of 30 hours on their blades between sharpening, even if they skate really hard. There are beginner skaters that only get them sharpened once every 3 months or 4 months, and that works just fine for them. I wouldn't recommend going more than 5 months between sharpenings, no matter how much of a beginner you are. But I would say somewhere between 12 and 16 weeks is a good place for most people to start when they're learning to skate and still trying to figure out what they even like. As you get more advanced and you get more experienced, you'll be able to start to get an idea of what sort of sharpness, what kind of bite you like your blades to have. You never want them to get to the point where you feel like you have no stability over the blade. That's just dangerous. We don't want to wait that long for sharpening. We just want to get it sharpened when we start feeling like we're beginning to have a little bit of needing to apply extra pressure in situations where we ordinarily wouldn't need to. Or if you are such a beginner yet, you don't really know how to stop yet, you're still learning, so you don't know what a good clean stopping skid feels like yet. Going back to the suggestions either that I just gave, or better yet, what your skate sharpener gives you over hours on the ice between sharpenings would be your best guide. I hope this is helpful. You have a good day, and you have a good skate. Goodbye.